Hello and welcome back to Tutorials. Today is going to be a very quick video, so quick that I'm actually holding my mic today. I couldn't find the stand, but that's neither here nor there. I am just going to breeze through some really quick tips for you for the day before the bar exam, which if you're watching this the day before the bar exam is today as of the date of this recording, and also for during the bar exam, like in between the breaks and also in between the days of testing. Okay, so we're going to go straight into it, and these are tips that, again, everything I tell you is based on my own past experiences and based on, the many tests that I've done. Like, remember, this is coming from a serial bar exam taker. I learned a few things along the way that I'd like to share with you. So let's start with the day before. If you're watching this and your bar exam is tomorrow, one thing I want to tell you now is make sure you're getting yourself some rest, as in getting sleep tonight. The last thing you want to do is pull an all-nighter. And again, trust me, okay, I've been there. I've tried the all-nighters. As much as you think you need to stay awake and keep looking through your outlines or do a few more MEEs or MBEs, as much as you think staying up and doing that is going to help you, I can tell you now that it's not. Because, okay, just hear me out. When you get to the exam, you're already probably going to be a bit anxious, you're going to be nervous, and, really trying to recall everything you've been studying over the last however many months. So the last thing you want to do is get to the exam and not only be a little bit anxious and a bit nervous, but then also so tired that you can't even remember the things that you stayed up to do the night before, okay? Because if you're tired from the night before, then you're still going to be tired in the exam. Even if you take caffeine, that's like a fake kind of, and this is me just talking from experience, it's like it puts you in a very weird state where you actually can't think straight. So please, okay, I beseech you, do not do an all-nighter the night before the bar exam. When it comes to the day, like studying and stuff, that's absolutely fine. If you feel you want to keep looking over your notes, going over, reviewing the questions, reviewing your weak areas, the answers that you frequently had got wrong in the past, then by all means do so, be my guest. I would say do that. Some people prefer not to study the day before or do very light study. Do what feels right to you, okay? What feels right for you. If it's going to give you ease of mind, knowing that or peace of mind, sorry, knowing that you've spent some extra time today on things that maybe you're still not really sure on and they're highly tested areas and they are your weaker areas, then please do. And if you feel like you just need a break so that you can go full throttle the next day, then again, do what feels right to you. I've always said bar prep is not a one-size-fits-all thing, so don't just go with the masses. Do what feels right to you, but please don't do an all-nighter. Just put that out there because I've been there. I feel like I'm having the flashback right now of the state that I was in, okay? And also on the day before, just make sure you've got everything in order, from things to like your clothes, what you'll be wearing. The last thing you want to be doing on bar exam day is trying to spend time making decisions about the clothes you're going to be wearing or the shoes you're going to wear or, just what kind of transport you'll be taking. Do all of that the day before so that on the day of the bar exam, the only decisions you'll be making are, is this the right answer or is that the right answer? Should I use this rule of law or should I go with this one? You don't want to be thinking of all the extracurricular stuff that, you could have planned the day before. So in terms of transport, if you know you're going to take an Uber or a Lyft, decide, am I going to be taking Uber or Lyft? Can you pre-book it? If that's the case, are you going to be taking the bus? If yes, what time is the bus? Is there one before that you can catch? Just look at all those details now, the day before, so that on the day, that's the last thing you have to do. And on the day, you just have a plan that you can stick to and just follow through from the beginning of the day, from the morning till the end when you're getting ready for the next day on the exam. Okay, so I would say think about your ID, look at your bar exam checklist. Most jurisdictions or states give you a checklist of things that you should bring. So your government issued IDs, sometimes you need the admission certificate, depending on the state. Also things like watches, smart watches. Some jurisdictions don't allow any watches. So depending on where you are, make sure you know the rules on that so you're not having to worry about that on the day. Also, I would say things like COVID requirements. Obviously, we're still in a bit of a weird place at the date of this recording, and some states require negative tests, whereas some of them don't. So just make sure you're keeping an eye on what your state says in terms of your testing requirements, especially when it comes to things like COVID. And then also just planning your food. Okay, so if you haven't pre-ordered food, which a lot of people do already, which is great, I would say plan your food in advance. If there's a way you could pre-order, like through Subway or anything around the area of the testing venue, do that if you can, only because you don't want to be wandering around in the lunch break, looking for a restaurant or a spot that hasn't got a really long line out of it. Again, I'm speaking from my past experiences, and then you end up in a random restaurant behind the block where the only food they have is really heavy carby food, and then you end up falling asleep during the bar exam. And that is a story, again, that I will tell you probably after these exams pass, but based on my experiences, you need to make sure you're eating the right foods, something that's not going to be carb heavy, that's not going to fill you up to the point where you can't keep your eyes open during the exam, especially when you are already running low on sleep. Okay, so sleep is important, and then not eating anything too heavy in the lunch break is also really important, because that can affect the second half of your exam. It can affect your focus, it can affect your stamina. Do what you've been doing all throughout. If you've had foods that you've eaten in between your study breaks that you know keep you going. If you need caffeine, if you are already a caffeine drinker or a coffee drinker, then keep doing what you were doing all along. Now's not the time to say, okay, I want to do this without caffeine just to show that I did it by myself. I don't know, all sorts of things go through our minds when we're in these conditions. So I would just say, make sure you focus on just, sticking to the same kind of thing that you were doing during your prep, your bar prep, that doesn't deviate too far off on the exam day, that kind of throws you out of whack. Okay. And then also things like painkillers. If you get headaches often, or, you're prone to headaches, or you may get a headache, most jurisdictions do allow you to have it in your clear plastic bag, which you also should remember to take, as long as it's there labeled and sealed, then that's fine. And then obviously your water bottle, things like that. Some jurisdictions don't allow hoods, so make sure you're just checking, so they're not making you strip. Not that they would, but just make sure that you've got all of that out of the way before the day, so that you don't have to worry about it on the day. Okay. And then when it comes to on the day, I would say you need to tune people out. Okay, that's one of the biggest tips, and one of the things that I learned. You need to tune people out on the breaks when you're sat waiting. Just tune them out, because you never know who might be in your ear at the time. I remember there were some people in the break who were just arguing about this rule of law. Like, I think they knew each other already, and so like, no, it's actually this, and that's the exception. No, this is it, and that's the exception. And I was just there like, hold on. And I knew it already, but then they confused me. And then I started second guessing myself. So I would just say tune everyone out. Also, when you're sat at the desks, I had someone who was also from the UK, which she was really lovely, but she just wouldn't stop talking. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like, I was really trying to, go through I was speaking positive to myself. I was telling myself, you got this, you've done it, you've got this, you've done it. But she just kept talking to me. And as much as I wanted to be polite and friendly, I learned that you just have to tune people out sometimes. So in the end, I got my earplugs, just gonna pop these in. And she just said, oh, sorry, because I'm sorry, but I'm not there for little Miss Chatterbox. I'm there to pass the exam. And if I need to focus and do my breath work and do my mental preparation right before, like moments before the exam, then I need to be able to do that. Okay. So you need to be able to do that. So don't be afraid to kind of, just let people know that you're not here for the conversation. You're not here for the debates on the rule of law. You're here to do the exam that you came to do. And another thing I would say is, on the breaks, if you can, get your earphones in. I wouldn't say don't study on the breaks, but I wouldn't say do study on the breaks. Again, do what feels right to you. I remember, I think the most I did was kind of look over, just a few rules of law, but then it kind of doesn't go in that time anyway. So maybe you should just enjoy the break instead. I'm sorry, this mic is getting really heavy, and I did say it would be a short video. So just to round up for on the day as well, another thing I would say is, don't second guess yourself. Don't start deviating from what you've been doing. You know your timing for your MBEs, you know the timing for the essays. If you've got a plan on how you're going to be doing your MPTs, stick to that plan. Don't deviate from what you've been practicing all along, because then it can put you in a muddle. Obviously, if you have a wild card, you may have to, but hopefully you have a plan already that you kind of have in place as to how you're going to deal with that, and then just stick to it. Okay, don't second guess yourself. If you think you know the answer, just go for it. So 9 times out of 10 you were right the first time, and I know many of you have seen this in your studies, so I would say that. And then also another thing, and this may be the final thing, but also in between the exam days, so the day after the exam, I would say if you need to study, don't go too heavy. Just make sure you still get that rest that you need before the exam. There's that. But I'm going to leave you with this as a final encouragement, because like I said, I say this all the time, you've come this far, you've jumped over so many hurdles to get to where you are, and this is the last one. So what I really want to say to you is don't give up. Literally, like in the exam, there may be times where you think like the morning session was that last section was terrible, and you may just find yourself in a place where you think, well, like, what's the point? There is a point. The point is you can get through this exam if you tell yourself you can. So don't give up mentally when you're in the exam and you feel like maybe it hasn't gone so well. Just keep going. Finish every question. Answer every MPE. Answer every essay. Use up all the spare time that you have and just go all the way through to the end, because you never know. You could have been one MBE away from passing. You could have been one extra rule of law. Just push all the way through to the end, and don't give up on the exam. Don't give up. And then also, okay, and this is the last thing I promise, because this mic is getting very heavy. Don't speak the failure after you're done. Don't be that person who says, okay, right, see you in February. I'm going to see you in February. No, don't do that, because again, all the people who said, see you in February to me, we saw each other again at the next exam sitting. And I realized that was bad of me to do, to keep speaking. Yeah, okay, I failed. Like, yeah, I failed that. Yep, definitely failed. Like, don't do that, okay? Think positive, just keep that. And I know it's cliche, but it's so beneficial, so effective. And just believe in yourselves. Like, you've come this far, you've been putting in the work. Like, why wouldn't you excel when you know that you've been doing what you have to do all along, okay? So I'm gonna leave you with that. I'm now holding the mic with 2 hands because my wrist is shaking, so I hope my voice isn't shaking. But honestly, I'm so proud of each and every one of you who are watching this video, and you've literally just come so far. This is the final hurdle, and then you can become that kick-ass lawyer that you were called to be, that amazing lawyer that you were called to be. So all the very best. I'll be thinking of you, I'll be praying for you, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me to let me know how it goes. See you soon. Law Tutorial.